Now I'm going to briefly go through the types of FIRE profiles for clarity. The more you save and invest, the sooner you'll reach the point where your money is working harder than you are. For the 2024-2025 tax year, you can invest up to £20,000 in ISAs across all types. But there's still one final piece of the puzzle to uncover. Imagine this, folks, you're relaxing on a beach 10 years earlier than you ever expected. There's no emails, there's no deadlines, just the freedom to enjoy your life. Well, it might sound too good to be true, but let me tell you, it is not. And no, this isn't about playing the lottery or stumbling into some lucky break. This is about using a proven, straightforward financial strategy that could genuinely transform your retirement timeline. Now, you might be thinking, sure, early retirement sounds great, but that's surely for the super rich. Well, the truth is, this approach isn't reserved for millionaires at all. You don't need a six-figure salary, you don't need a massive inheritance or extraordinary luck, but what you do need is a willingness to make smart financial choices today and every day so you can live with greater freedom tomorrow. So one concept in particular that has empowered thousands of people to take control of their financial future is FIRE. That's short for financial independence, retire early. Now, whilst we've introduced the idea in a previous video, today we're going to take a deeper dive into this increasingly popular strategy. And although FIRE originated in the United States as a strategy, it's now gaining significant momentum here in the UK, and it offers a transformative way to rethink how we approach work, money, and time. And FIRE isn't about giving everything up or living in hardship either. It's about structuring your finances so that your money works for you. The goal is to build enough passive income through savings and investing that you no longer need to rely on your job to maintain your lifestyle. Now, whether you dream of leaving work entirely, scaling back to part-time, or simply having more options, FIRE gives you that flexibility. Now, there are different variations of FIRE, including approaches that allow for very frugal living, more luxurious lifestyles, or a balance of part-time work and investment income. You don't need to decide which version is right for you at the start. The important thing is recognizing that this mindset can apply to anybody, regardless of income level or career. Now, I'm going to briefly go through the types of FIRE profiles for clarity. Lean FIRE is about retiring early on a very frugal lifestyle with annual spending typically between £20,000 and £32,000 a year. Fat FIRE allows for a more comfortable or even luxurious retirement with yearly spending of £80,000 or more. Then there's barrister FIRE, which means you're semi-retired, covering some expenses with part-time work, usually spending between £32,000 and £56,000 a year. Fourth up, we have coast FIRE, and this is when you've already saved enough for retirement and you just need to cover current living costs, often spending around £32,000 to £48,000 annually, and from my experience that's probably where most of our clients kind of sit. And finally, there is slow FIRE, which takes a more gradual approach, aiming for financial independence later whilst still enjoying life and spending around £40,000 to £64,000 a year. So these are the main types of FIRE profiles, each offering a different balance between saving, spending, and lifestyle, ranging from ultra frugal to financially flexible or semi-retirement paths. Now, at Reeves, we've seen clients of all backgrounds succeed in retiring earlier than they ever imagined. And the appeal of FIRE is simple. It gives you time. Whether you want to travel, whether you want to spend more time with your loved ones, pursue a creative project, or simply enjoy a slower pace of life, FIRE helps you get there. The essence of FIRE is control. It's about building a future on your terms, where your time belongs to you, not your employer. To get there, you don't need to earn more, you need to spend intentionally and invest wisely. The first step is saving with purpose. If you want to retire 10, 15 or even 20 years earlier than you think you can, well, saving just a smaller percentage of your income likely won't be enough in the long run. Some FIRE followers aim to save 30%, 50% or even more of their income, but let's be honest, that level of saving can feel pretty overwhelming, especially if you're just starting out. But the good news is you don't need to jump in at the deep end. Even saving purposefully 5% or 10% consistently can make a massive difference over time, especially when those savings are invested sensibly and benefit from compound growth. And we say that phrase a lot in most of our YouTube videos. The key is to start with achievable habits and build from there. Begin by reviewing your current spending to identify areas where you can realistically cut back. And believe me, there will be some. You can cancel any unused subscriptions for a start. We are all guilty of that, I think. You can negotiate better deals on your household bills, bills and make it a priority to pay down high interest debt. Everyday spending on convenience, for example, your regular takeaways, do you really need them? Your coffee shop runs, can you not just buy some Nescafe? That might not seem like much, but over time, these costs can quietly erode your savings potential. Can and do. So choosing to cook at home or bring your own lunch may seem like a small change, but it's one that adds up meaningfully over time. You don't have to give up fun or social experiences. The key is to find joy in low-cost or free activities that enrich your life without draining your wallet. Every pound you save can be invested, and those investments can grow steadily through compound interest. The more you save and invest, the sooner you'll reach the point where your money is working harder than you are. Now, once you've started saving, the next step is to put that money to work in the most efficient way possible. In the UK, there are many tax-efficient investment options that can significantly accelerate your progress towards that all-important financial independence. Again, we've got an in-depth video on this, but one of the most effective tools is the Stocks and Shares ISA. For the 2024-2025 tax year, you can invest up to £20,000 in ISAs across all types. That includes cash ISAs and stocks and shares ISAs. And within a stocks and shares ISA, any capital gains, dividends or interest earned are entirely tax-free, which makes it an excellent vehicle for long-term investing. Now, if you're not using your full ISA allowance, you're potentially missing out on valuable tax-free growth, so give that some serious thought. And even a little bit going in, if you can't manage the full 20,000, will make a difference in the long term. Now, let's talk pensions. Pensions offer another really powerful advantage. When you contribute to a pension, the government provides tax relief on those contributions. For basic rate taxpayers, that's 20% at the minute in this current tax year. A contribution of £80 is automatically topped up to £100. Higher and additional rate taxpayers can claim further tax relief through their self-assessment tax return. Now, when you also factor in potential employer contributions, the long-term growth potential of pensions becomes even more compelling, particularly due to the benefits of compound growth, as I keep saying, over time. There's also the capital gains tax allowance, CGT, that's commonly referred to as. For the 2024-2025 tax year, individuals can realise up to £3,000 in capital gains before any CGT becomes due. This applies to gains on the sale of investments held outside tax wrappers like ISAs or pensions. For example, it might be company shares, that's a typical one. By planning your investment withdrawals strategically, you can make use of this allowance to reduce your overall tax liability. It's really important to remember that CGT rules and thresholds may of course change, so it's wise to stay up to date or consult with a financial advisor before you make any significant decisions. But it's not just about where to invest, it's about how you manage those investments. Passive investing, such as using diversified index funds or ETFs, which is exchange traded funds, can provide reliable long-term growth without the stress or costs associated with active trading. However, your portfolio will still benefit from regular reviews and rebalancing, ensuring it stays aligned with your risk tolerance. That's really important. And of course, your time horizon and evolving goals. So ultimately, the power of compound growth is what brings the FIRE strategy to life. You don't need to chase high-risk investments or short-term gains. By making consistent contributions, choosing tax-efficient accounts, and allowing time for your investments to grow, your wealth can snowball quietly but powerfully in the background, bringing you closer to financial independence with every passing year. So minimizing expenses is another key part of the FIRE strategy. Living below your means doesn't necessarily mean deprivation. It means spending in alignment with your values and your long-term goals. Choosing a smaller home, avoiding lifestyle inflation, and shopping more mindfully are all ways to reduce your outgoings without sacrificing quality of life. Tracking your spending is absolutely essential though, folks. Today's budgeting apps make it really easy to set goals, monitor progress, and spot opportunities to save a little bit more. Even setting aside an extra £100 a month can honestly dramatically improve your financial trajectory if it's done consistently and if it's invested wisely. For some, relocating to a less expensive area is the single biggest cost saver for them. Now, whilst that might seem like a big change, it could be the decision that really does fast track your financial independence by many years. When you do reach financial independence, it's really important to have a plan plan for how to manage your wealth over time. You'll no longer be earning a regular salary, so your investments will need to provide reliable income for the rest of your life. There are two common strategies here. One is purchasing an annuity with your wealth, and that gives you a guaranteed income for life or a period of time in exchange for a portion of your wealth. Usually it's your pension pot that you use for that. It's a simple and predictable option, though it does offer less flexibility. The other strategy is drawdown, and that's where you keep your pension invested and you withdraw a steady percentage each month or each year. Now, we've done a deep dive into this, folks, so be sure to check out that video on our channel. The goal isn't just to avoid running out of money, by the way. It's to create a plan that gives you confidence, allowing you to enjoy retirement without anxiety over finances. Life will change and your strategy should be able to adapt with it, but with a solid foundation, you'll be the one in control. So whilst the FIRE movement encourages self-discipline, smart saving and independent investing, seeking professional financial advice can be one of the smartest decisions you ever make on your journey. Building wealth and retiring early isn't just about how much you save, it's about making the right decisions with the money at every single stage in the process. And a qualified financial advisor can definitely help you set realistic goals, can probe deep into what those goals are and set them down on paper, which many people don't do. Will also help you choose the most tax efficient accounts or vehicles to use. Will develop a clear investment strategy tailored to your personal risk tolerance and your long-term plans. Now, as you get closer to financial independence and you get a little bit excited at getting on the brink of retirement, well, that's when seeking expert advice becomes even more valuable, especially when it comes to drawing down your investments sustainably and managing your tax position, and thus protecting the wealth you've worked so hard to build. If that's something you're thinking about, that's exactly where we come in, because at Reeves we specialise in helping people just like you make confident, informed financial decisions. If you're interested in a free financial review, you'll find a link in the description below where you can learn more about what's included and why so many people say it's the easiest first step towards taking control of their financial future. And remember, folks, FIRE doesn't mean going it alone. It means building a future that works for you, and getting the right support along the way can make all of the difference. Retiring early isn't just about stopping work either. It's about creating space for the life you actually want to live. It's more time with your children while they're young and old. It's waking up naturally and choosing how to spend your day. It's pursuing passions, your travel, your creativity. You can write the book you always wanted to write, or you can just slow down. Some people use early retirement to launch businesses or volunteer in their communities, whatever floats their boat. Others use it to rest, recover, or reconnect with their families and friends. The point is, you get to choose. And even though we're fortunate to have the NHS in the UK, many early retirees opt for private healthcare for faster access, more flexibility and peace of mind. If you've worked this hard to retire early, protecting your well-being becomes a top priority. So ask yourself, if money were no object, how would you spend your time? Who would you spend it with? What would finally make it onto your calendar? That's the real goal of retirement, not a number in your bank account, but a life rich in time, freedom, and purpose. So to summarize, retiring 10 years early is entirely achievable, and we've helped thousands of clients do that over the years. It does require clear goals, high savings, tax-efficient investing, disciplined spending, and a well-planned withdrawal strategy. But there's still one final piece of the puzzle to uncover, and in our next video, we're going to walk you through a real-life example. This is someone who hopes to retire at 57 with a pension pot of $285,000. Is it possible? Why don't you click the link here to find out and see exactly how FIRE principles apply in practice. I'll see you there.